Hi, I'm Ryan, and this is Pete.
Hello.
Hello. For reasons beyond our control, we're unable to join you this week with our regular History Happened Everywhere, so we've gone ahead and recorded one for you in advance. So sit back, enjoy, and we'll catch you on our regular History Happened Everywhere very soon. History Happened Everywhere. A random country and a random time with a topic pulled from the hat. Then a week for one of us to dive into the internet to find out all we can. Welcome to...
History Happened Everywhere.
Out of office. So, Pete, having a good time off on our little one-off podcast?
Oh, yes, very much so. Having a lovely time.
How's it been?
I have to be honest, there was one very significant challenge to this, so I've had to do some clever thinking.
Okay, well, why don't we remind ourselves of what the country, the time period, and the topic is?
All right, let's look back.
Okay, let's hit the doors later for our one-off show.
Okay, let's start with the country.
Okay, here it comes. And the country is... Bahamas.
Ooh, nice. I could look at pictures of islands for a week.
Bahamas. I've never been. You've been to Bahamas?
I do not know.
I want to go to Bahamas. And the time period is 400 to 500 AD.
Okay.
You love the old days.
There'll be loads of stuff, I'm sure.
Right?
Probably.
Bahamas in 400 AD. All those Romans lying around.
Roman Bahamas, we've all heard of it.
Okay, so the topic. Maybe this will make it a bit easier for you. All right, here we go. And the topic is leisure.
Yeah, that hasn't made it easier at all.
No.
I'm going to say harder, if anything.
Okay, well, there you go, Pete. You have got Bahamas in 400 to 500 AD, and your theme is leisure. You've got 1 week.
I am on it.
I see you've come prepared. You're wearing your Bermuda shorts and your
Yeah, I had trouble
deck
parking
shoes.
my surfboard. That was probably the biggest challenge.
Couldn't get that in the lift on the way up.
No, so Bahamas. Let's talk Bahamas, shall we?
Let's do it.
Did you know where the Bahamas are?
Caribbean?
Caribbean, yes, sir. You are absolutely correct.
Hooray.
In fact, what I was surprised by was how near to America it is.
Okay.
So it's in the Caribbean. Do you know where Florida is in America? The
Yes.
sticky down bit on the right-hand side?
Yeah.
Just 50 miles off the coast of Florida, you hit the Bahamas, the first of the islands. And it's a chain of islands that kind of spreads down into the right.
Okay.
And it's just above Cuba and the Dominican Republic.
So, sorry, how far from Florida?
50 miles.
50 miles?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm guessing that the climate is pretty similar to Florida.
It's certainly sunny and quite hurricaney. So, yes,
Yeah.
I suppose it's fairly
But
similar.
I'm guessing white sands and that's not something necessarily I would associate with Florida, but then I've never been to Florida, so
Miami Beach.
yeah. Miami Beach, of course, yeah. All right, fair enough.
And what do you call it? Palm trees. Palm trees in Miami Beach. Think of that, and you're in the right territory, I think.
Okay.
These are slightly different, though, because they come from a different landmass, which we're going to cover a bit later. But yeah, so essentially between Cuba and Florida in the Caribbean Sea, they are 13,000 kilometers squared.
Mm-hmm.
But there's over 700 islands. It's difficult to describe how big it is because on the one hand, if you add up all the islands, it's not very big.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it spreads quite a long way across the sea.
It would have helped the longevity of History Happened Everywhere if each of those islands was their own individual country rather than sort of grouping them together.
It would have given the Dersolator a lot more to go on, but I would have struggled with a lot of these very much uninhabited tiny islands that are even uninhabited to this day, a lot of them. So there's not probably not a lot to write.
Do you reckon a lot of them are sort of owned by celebrities and rich people?
Very good question, which I will answer shortly.
I will withhold that question for the time being.
So the islands are also known as Cays, which is quite a specific type of island. I guess it's a low-lying island thing.
Cays, K-A-Y?
C-A-Y-S. So in the same way as we have, I don't know, John's Island, it would be John's Cay.
Right.
It's like just a very low-lying island on a reef.
Question. The Cayman Islands?
Don't know.
But that's C-A-Y, right?
Yes, it is. It's spelled the same way. I don't know why it's called the Cayman Islands, though.
Where are the Cayman Islands?
They're somewhere around there, I think. I think they're another Caribbean bolt hole for the wealthy.
Yeah.
The Bahamas were described by NASA astronaut Scott Kelly as the most beautiful place from space.
Oh, really?
Right. I guess they're laid out nicely, like a little chain of jewels in the Caribbean.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess they must be big enough that you can see them, these islands. I mean, I'm imagining tiny little rocks. But
they vary, but yeah, some are bigger than others. Obviously, you can see. You can't see 700 individual islands, but you can see the main masses.
Yeah, imagine that. Not only do you get to go to space, but you can come back and be quoted in a podcast about just how chill the Bahamas looks from space.
I wonder if you're in space thinking, I'd rather be in the Bahamas right now, because, sipping on a Mai Tai in a capsule in space. It's maybe not. Mind you, it's a dream of a lifetime for these guys, isn't it?
I guess so.
Space horrifies me, so I'm probably not the best judge of that.
Fair enough.
So much of it freaks me out.
There is a lot of it. And yet there's none of it.
Mind blown. Fortunately, we should put space in, actually, as a location to the Dersolator.
I've been saying that since the start.
Oh, it might be in there, actually.
Did we put it in?
I'm not sure.
I hope so.
Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted now.
2000 BC and space will be a good one.
Yeah, largely unchanged. Population-wise, 385,000 people.
Okay.
So that's somewhere between Leicester and Bradford.
Right, okay. And for our international listeners...
Small.
A
moderate-sized small city, large town, I would call it.
Okay.
Not a lot of people, I would call that. So that's the kind of geography. That's where it is, sitting in the sea, looking nice. Lots of sun, sea, and sand.
Yeah.
They drive on the left-hand side for reasons that will become clear. The people are known as Bajans. You're not Bahamian, you're Bajan. And can you name some famous Bajans?
No, not one.
What if I told you Robin Fenty was a Bajan?
I don't know who Robin Fenty is.
What if I told you Robin Fenty sometimes goes by the moniker Rihanna?
Oh! See, I thought that was a man when you said Robin.
You see, tricked you.
Gender bias there.
Maybe something a bit more classic. Sir Garfield Sobers? Gary Sobers?
No, I don't know these people.
He's arguably the world's greatest cricket all-rounder.
Okay.
He was born in Barbados. And here's one, if you didn't get those two, you're definitely not going to get, but I will get you there. Irving Burgee, also known as Lord Burgess.
No, I don't know any of these people.
He is. You will know this one. Ironically, this is the one you will know. His mother was from Barbados. He was born in Brooklyn, actually, but he's known as one of the greatest composers of Caribbean music.
Okay.
So let's try to see if we can spot one of his songs. He did the lyrics for the Barbados national anthem. Have you heard of Kingston Market?
No.
Curry Goat and Rice?
No.
Okay. I'm going to give this one more try.
All right.
And I think I'm going to bring it home.
All right.
Deo. Deo. Daylight come and you want to go home.
Which is in Beetlejuice.
And you've heard of, and we got you. I told you I'd get you there in the end.
That's great. He wrote that one.
He did.
Hello. This is the voice of the internet. It appears that Peter has malfunctioned. He has confused the island of Barbados with the country of this episode, which is the Bahamas. Barbados is the home of the Bajan people and is an island in the Caribbean over 2,000 miles away from the Bahamas. An example of the famous Bahamian is the actor Sidney Poitier. Thank you.
So that's where we are. We're in the Bahamas. These are some famous Bajans. But let's give me the when. The when is what made this particularly difficult.
Yeah.
410 AD, as we discussed previously in the topic of Portugal was when Rome was sacked by the Visigoths. So we're talking about the end of Rome.
Okay.
The Vandals were occupying Carthage, if you like your Vandals
Right.
History.
I do.
And
the Visigoths.
The Visigoths and Vandals. That's a band I'd listen to.
Yeah, for sure.
In China, there was a period known as the 16 Kingdoms, which is lots of little kingdoms. Just
16 of them.
Exactly. You know your stuff. Well done. It was bad news for the Gupta Empire, and we mentioned them last time as well. So they were invaded and occupied by Huna peoples. So empires around the world seem to be struggling at this time.
Okay.
In the Bahamas, though, what was going on is nothing at all. It's just sitting there completely uninhabited and waiting to be discovered.
Okay. So it's having a leisurely time.
It is having a leisurely time, yes. So as part of the crowbarring in of leisure, you'll find I've had to do some things, which I will tell you about shortly. So let's try and tell you a bit more about the Bahamas. So at this time, nothing. It was just an island, uninhabited. The first people actually arrived somewhere between the 800s and 1000 AD. These were the Taino people who came in from HHE in the Dominican Republic and Cuba.
Okay.
They came to also be known as the Lucayan people. And about 30,000 of them were in the Bahamas when Christopher Columbus arrived. On the 12th of October, 1492 specifically.
Okay.
He landed on the island of Guanahani, which he immediately renamed, as he was prone to doing, to San Salvador Island.
Yeah.
That was on his first visit. Then,
I mean, imagine landing on the Bahamas, though, right? White sands and blue skies and palm trees swaying in a gentle breeze. Yeah, I mean, after, 6 or 7 months of being at ocean amongst sweaty, smelly seamen.
I suspect that they were pretty pleased to be there.
Right?
But also, so for all those reasons, also popular with pirates between sort of 1680s, early 1700s.
Yeah.
A lot of the pirates would hang around in the Bahamas quite frequently, including one Blackbeard.
Oh, right. Okay.
Then less...
so that's all the classic Pirates of the Caribbean stuff.
Pirates of the Caribbean, exactly.
There we are.
Darting around, finding safe haven in these islands, because obviously 700 islands, there's plenty of places to hide as well.
Nooks and crannies to hide your gear.
Exactly.
Your stolen illicit gain.
Quite so. Then in the 18th century, slavery...
To the Bahamas.
To the Bahamas with you. I mean, it beats... they were quite democratic pirates, weren't they? They were sort of early forms of democracy. Very democratic. The captain was elected.
Yar, maybe to the Bahamas. Where would you like to go?
We'll do
Let us take a vote.
Okay, rest of the podcast in pirate voice.
Come on with ye. Avast.
Carry on. Oh, dear. So, yes, from excitement of piracy down to the depression of slavery. In the 18th century, a lot of Africans were brought to the Bahamas to, as one website had it, work for free. Rather understated it as far as I could see.
Wow. That was some bold editing on the website's part. How should I describe slavery?
Can't help but feel you're soft-soaping that somewhat. But as a result, the descendants of slaves are now about 85% of the Bahamian population.
Wow. Okay.
It became a British territory, and it actually only gained its independence from the United Kingdom in 1973. So that's kind of the potted history of the island, but we are going way back before Columbus, before the slaves, before the Taino people even, into there's nobody there.
Cool.
So that brings me to my challenge of leisure.
Yeah. How can you possibly do a podcast on leisure when there's no one there?
I'm glad you asked. I've taken the simple methodology of... I assume there will be time travel in the future in the mode of
oh no,
the Terminator. I've taken Terminator rules and said, as a Terminator type time traveler, what could I do if I went back in time to the Bahamas 500?
I love it. That's a great angle.
So I can get there. I can't bring anything. So
so just you.
I have to enjoy my leisure in the Bahamas in this period. I'll admit, I'm a time traveller, so that's my contribution to tweaking the rules somewhat. But my time travelling tourist is going to pop back and they're going to enjoy some things.
Okay. Come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to live
leisure.
A lovely life in the Bahamas. If he'd have been allowed to finish that sentence, they wouldn't have had so many problems. So let's start with island hopping. That's a classic activity, isn't it? So there's over 700 islands. And basically these islands sit on a huge platforms of carbonates. These are super thick rock, basically, on something called the Bahama Banks. And these are limestone reefs, and they stretch down about 2 miles to the ocean floor. So there's kind of towers of carbonate.
2 miles.
Yeah. So the theory is that it needs animals. It's like a reef. So a reef, reef is created by creatures. It's not a rock. It's similar to that.
A living organism.
So animals needed to create these carbonate rocks, but the sea in the area is really poor in the nutrients that these creatures would need. Mm-hmm. So it may discover you to learn. I'll try that again. It may surprise
in your
you
own
to
words. In words you might actually use.
No, it's not even what's written here. It's just
You're kidding me.
Literally not at all.
Heretofore,
hereinafter referred to as the sea banks. So anyway, there's not enough nutrients in the sea for these creatures to have done this, apparently.
Okay.
But some researchers from the University of Miami found that the bacteria, they found evidence for these bacteria, but they didn't have enough iron to do it with from the local resources.
Okay.
So where did the iron come from? And the answer is, actually, can you guess? Can you guess whereabouts in the world the iron that is required by these creatures to make these carbonate banks actually came from?
Well, I think this is a trick question, so I reckon it's coming from really far away. So
they're very warm.
All right, where are they finding it? I think they're finding it from the mid Pacific. They're coming from the Pacific.
You are not going far enough, sir. It's from iron-rich sand and dust from the Sahara Desert, they think.
Wait, what?
So Central Africa, 5,000 miles away. The dust travels all the way over there to enable this activity to take place.
I see. So what, like there might be like a dust storm in the Sahara. The sand all gets whipped up into the air, into the clouds.
All the way across.
All the way over in the jet stream.
To the Caribbean.
Rained down upon.
Yeah.
Into the sea, filters down.
That's the theory.
I thought you meant, where are these little creatures scrabbling to go and get it and bring it back?
No, they're not. That would be amazing.
Well, that's why when you said the desert, I'm like, that's the worst place for them to go to find it.
But I'm a sea creature.
Who was the first sea creature to discover it?
Going to need some iron, guys. Don't worry. Yeah. I'm going over there. No, it was the sand. The sand that blew I'm still amazed though that sand and dust can blow 5,000 miles.
It does. I mean, sometimes even here we get like red skies and stuff that are filtered by the orange sands of the Sahara.
Yeah, true. So it's just an interesting thought that when you're in the Bahamas on the islands, you're kind of in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, I guess so. What, when you're lying on the sand?
Yeah.
I mean, this has been going for many long times. Yeah. Okay. Ever since, I guess, the Sahara was a desert.
So that's why. So this gives us these characteristic islands, though, which is they're quite low. They're kind of reefy islands. You're not seeing lots of hills and valleys. It's all very flat and reasonably small islands, shallow beaches and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So there are 500 islands that have got names on Wikipedia. I didn't go further than that because I stopped at 500.
Can you name any of them?
Well, let me give you a few examples. And a lot of them are called something K because we discussed K is a specific type of island. It's a low elevation, sandy island specifically on the surface of a coral reef.
Okay.
So that's what a K is. So the one I particularly liked was Wadwick Wells K.
Wadwick?
Wadwick. Generally
with a W.
Wadwick. Yeah.
Wadwick. Oh.
There's TK, which I guess is where TK Maxx started.
Or tea cakes.
Big Joe Downer K.
Big Joe Downer K.
Big Joe Downer. I guess Big Joe was not a lot of fun.
No.
There's New Providence. That's the island where the capital, Nassau, is found.
I was going to say, I've heard of New Providence. I don't know why. I think it's a town in perhaps Pirates of the Caribbean. That's probably why I've heard
possibly.
of it.
It's a lifelong learning. Wherever you get your knowledge from, it still counts, right? There's some nice sounding ones. Conception Island and Cupid's K. They sounded pretty interesting to me.
Yeah.
Dead Man's K, Danger K and Cockroach K. Perhaps a bit less so.
Cockroach K.
Cockroach K. I mean, I guess it's a warning to others, isn't it? Your pirates are coming in going,
I mean, there's a reason.
Cupid's K or Cockroach K?
There's a reason why it's called Cockroach K, right?
You can only imagine. Danger K is quite intriguing, though, isn't it? Don't specify the danger.
Yeah, I think that's the middle name, though, isn't it?
Moving on. I was quite intrigued by double-breasted K.
Oh, double-breasted
I guess
K.
it was the style at the time. Who knows? Frozen K seemed pretty unlikely given the location, but that's a real one.
Yeah.
There's a son named after people: Margaret K, Leonard K. I was really hoping for a Peter K, but it did not come about, I'm afraid. I was also intrigued by No Name K, which is like, was it called No Name K, or did it just have no name for long enough that it became its name?
No Name K.
Right.
That's great. These are like boat names, aren't they? You know, like people could do funny boat names to distinguish
and
them.
I think that's when you got 700 islands, you can afford to have some fun with it, can't you?
And I guess this is originating from boat people. So, they're probably using a very similar sort of sense of humour.
Well, I think they start with the big ones and they go, New Providence. And then they're like, yes, that's New Providence. That seems like a nice... And then as they get smaller and smaller, they're, I don't know, Cockroach. Let's just name it after the first thing you see.
I would, if I landed there, I would call it vacay.
Vacay.
Right? For my vacays.
Nice.
Right?
And Ruddercut Cay isn't a particularly interesting name, but it's a private island with its own airstrip owned by David Copperfield.
No way.
Yeah, the illusionist David Copperfield.
He
owns
made an
island.
island disappear, didn't he? At some
He did.
point?
Well, now we know where
it
he put it.
Yeah.
It was there.
Yeah, he never gave it back. He would just makes it disappear. Took it to his own little Bahaman.
I can only imagine you get there. He's like, what's that behind your ear? It's a no trespassing sign. Get off my island.
So, yep.
So yeah, that's island hopping. Those are the islands. There's tons more names. Those are the ones I found particularly fun and interesting.
How are you getting from island to island, though? You're
Well,
in 400 to 500 with no tools and nothing.
Well, I'm assuming that my resourceful time traveller was able to strip down some bark and tree logs to make a raft to move from place to place.
Right. I'm pretty sure this was you travelling. Not now. It's just suddenly a time traveller.
It was
who's
always
resourceful.
a time traveller, a resourceful time traveller. If it was me, I am particularly resourceful. So frankly, I could whip you up a raft in no time.
Yeah, true. I think more likely this is similar to Castaway. You're going to be talking to a coconut.
Me and my coconut. You leave my coconut out of this.
Harold!
Yeah, that'd be my luck, wouldn't it? I'm in a Castaway situation. Instead of Wilson, I've got the guy out of Steptoe and Son. What do you want now?
Harold! It's the British version of Castaway. If that had been filmed here, it wouldn't have been a
Angry
volleyball.
coconut
Angry
with class
coconut.
issues.
You're never getting off this island. You filthy old coconut. This is going to play well for our international friends.
They're going to love this. They'll. What's the American version of Steptoe and Son was?
Oh, did they do one?
Yeah, it was a black family.
The Cosby Show.
No, before that, it's older than that. Sanford and Son, I think it is.
Okay.
But yes, it's the American remake of Steptoe and Son, which I cannot imagine working, but I've never seen. So right, you're on your island. You're going to want to do some stuff. So let's go swimming to start with.
That's a very leisurely activity.
Right? It's leisure, and there is sea, and you don't need anything, so that's helpful. You've probably seen bits of the Bahamas swimming opportunities.
Yep.
The Bond films Thunderball and Never Say Never Again were both had scenes filmed in the Bahamas.
Very good.
One of which actually there was a place called Thunderball Grotto where they named it after this place after the scene that they filmed.
Nice. That makes sense.
It's really good for diving and snorkeling apparently.
Yeah.
And was featured in an underwater fight scene in Thunderball.
Cool. I think I can picture it in my mind. Lots of people in scuba gear all having
Someone
like
will have a
underwater
harpoon
fight.
gun for sure.
Right? Oh, easy. Yeah.
And one of those like really slow motion punches that seems weirdly effective.
And would be completely not.
Yeah, you'd be like, well, what are you doing? So alternative swimming places. How do you, Ryan, fancy a dip in Dean's Blue Hole?
I see what you're doing there. I mean, I'd give it a go. I'm up for anything.
You should do, because it's actually rather beautiful. Dean's Blue Hole is, apart from the fact I can't say that without chuckling, is on Long Island, and it's the world's. Some people think it's the deepest, and some think it's the second deepest. And I didn't care too much to look into it to determine it, but it's basically a sinkhole in the sea. So,
wow,
you know, when you see pictures of like these sudden circular drops, it's one of them, but it's in the sea. So the blue of the sea looks really. It's amazing when you look at it. It looks like from above, it looks like a gigantic eye, because the middle bit's really blue.
Because that's what you want, a gigantic eye staring at you as you're swimming over it.
When you're that close, it's only if you see it from aerial view kind of thing, it looks like a big eye. But it has the kind of sand, and then there's the blue in the middle. So it's really rather beautiful.
I'm sure it is. That sounds terrifying, frankly. I don't know what's in that dark blue and how deep it goes and whether I'm going to get sucked down into
I can
Dean's
tell you how
Blue
deep
Hole.
it goes. It goes down 660 feet.
Oh, that's not as deep as I was thinking. I thought you were going to be like a mile or something.
No, it's
There's still stuff down there that I don't want to be swimming above.
It's a great place for swimming though, apparently, because it's kind of sheltered, so it's not there's not lots of tides or anything. Obviously, it's like swimming in a big well almost. It's a cave essentially.
My thalassophobia is kicking in just talking about this.
Yeah, well, you probably don't want to enter the Vertical Blue annual freediving competition that takes place there then.
It's unlikely.
No.
I can hold my breath for 2 minutes though.
Well, then you'd be
How long can you hold your breath for?
Last time I tried, not very long at all. It was like a minute. I did that thing where on TV someone had a bit where they were swimming, and I was like, I'll see if I can hold my breath. And it was very unimpressive indeed.
Yeah, I was watching a David Blaine thing recently where he was holding his breath, and he held his breath for, I don't know, 4 weeks, something. It was a long time. It was an extraordinarily long time.
And you did the first 2 minutes of that?
I gave it a go, yeah. And then I was like, I'm like David Blaine.
You are 2 minutes worth of David Blaine, I would say.
This is a magician-heavy podcast.
It is, isn't it?
For Bahamas in 400.
Who knew? I didn't put magic as a section, funnily enough. So the other thing that I thought was interesting about the Dean's Blue Hole is you get this phenomenon, which is a sand fall. Because there's this kind of circular lip as it goes down into the cave. When there's stuff going on the beach, sand trickles over the edge and drops down. So you see these pictures of this. It's sort of a reverse waterfall. It's in water, but it's landfall, if you like.
Wow, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's really that
feels
amazing.
Like that should be a pub quiz question or something. Where would you find a landfall, like a waterfall?
I fancy ourselves as being the only people to get any question right, wherein the answer is Dean's Blue Hole.
But that sounds like a pub quiz name, like our team name.
That is not a terrible idea, actually. Yeah. Let's take that for the next round. Also, shout out to Dean.
Our friend Dean, yeah.
So, yeah, this is basically just a big underwater cave, really great for swimming. There's lots of cave diving in the Bahamas because this platform of, was it not silicates?
Carbonites.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's carbonite. That's what Han Solo was frozen in Star Wars.
Similar to the limestone caves that you get on land, it's the same thing. These kind of erode and you get caves, but they're underwater caves in the case of the Bahamas.
Okay.
So super popular with cave divers. Also, it helps that the Bahamas sea levels rose quite a lot, so there were land caves that were created that then were submerged.
Okay, so our time traveller is having a little swim. He can swim down into the sinkhole, have a little look around the caves.
Yeah, can do a bit of free diving. Can't do sub-aqua because they haven't got their equipment.
No.
But you can swim around looking at fishes and
that's kind of cool.
Generally having a good time.
Yeah.
But it's a bit lonely swimming on your own. So what are you going to swim with? So
sharks.
Try.
Almost certainly that you're bringing sharks into this.
Let's try it. Famously, Ryan, which creatures do tourists in particular, enjoy swimming with?
Dolphins.
Pigs.
Wait, what?
Yes, Pig Beach is on Big Major Cay. It's an island with about 50 or 60 pigs that swim in the sea, and tourists come to this island to swim with the pigs.
Are they native to the island, or were they brought by the sailors?
So I am cheating here. These wouldn't have been here for our time traveller, so I cheated a little just to mention the swimming with pigs.
No, it's cool though.
But I thought
swimming with pigs.
It merited a detour, didn't it?
Pigs are super smart.
Yeah, no one's actually in agreement as to how these pigs got there. Some people think they were released specifically to attract tourists. Some think they were there from when sailors dropped them off.
Who's sitting around the tourist board going, you know what we should do? we should release pigs.
I'd love to have been at that meeting. I've got an idea, guys. So what?
You've
We need more
everything.
tourists. Well, what have we got? We've got beautiful sea. We've got the best cave diving in the world. We've got fantastic wildlife. We've got weather you wouldn't believe. Swimming pigs, though.
Farmer John sat at the back going, I've got an idea.
Wait, there's nothing you listed there that they haven't got over in Costa Rica or
Nothing
Cuba.
to do with your excess of pigs, is it, John?
No. Do you know anyone? Who's your pig guy? So anyway, yes. So you won't be swimming. Our tourists won't be swimming with pigs. But if you were to find yourself there, you would have that opportunity.
All right.
Hey Ryan.
Hey, Pete.
Hey mate. You're not going to believe this.
What's that?
We just got an email from the Bahamas Tourist Board.
No way. Cool.
They must have loved the podcast or something because they want us to do a jingle for their adverts.
Awesome.
Right?
Right, what do we have to do?
Well, do you know that song Kokomo by the Beach Boys?
Yeah. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why did...
Yeah, that's the
that
one.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, they want us to do that.
Awesome. Well, we just did it.
We did, didn't we? Nice. Well, I'll just send them that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, hang on. Whoa. Hey, no. Sorry, I've misread the email. They want us to keep that tune, but they've got some new lyrics. They want to make it more inclusive and representative of the islands.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. More modern song.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's all of the islands, or some of the islands of the Bahamas. So I'll send it over.
Sure. Okay. All right. Yep. It's come through.
All right. Right. Should we?
Wait. What? These are the new lyrics.
Well, I mean, it's what they've sent through, I guess. So
All right. Well, should we give it a go? Yeah. All right.
All right.
On three.
On three. 3, 2, 1.
Conception and Cupid, come on, let's get stupid. Non-Jack K and TK, places where we can play. And Dead Man's and Danger, also Big Joe Downer. And Cockroach and Frozen are the ones we've chosen.
This is horrible. Why would they? This is never going to work. But as you said, dolphins. There are also dolphins you can swim with, so our tourists will be able to do this. I did dolphin bothering once myself in Mauritius.
I mean, I don't like the use of the term dolphin bothering. That's not cool. Because that implies something other level of interaction with a dolphin that we shouldn't be talking about on this podcast.
Well, it wasn't formally entitled dolphin bothering. It's just that's what it felt like.
Okay.
As all these boats descended on a little bay and the dolphins are leaping around.
Doing their own thing.
And then everyone would leap off the boat to try and see dolphins underwater. But
Right.
it may surprise you to learn that dolphins are substantially better swimmers than people. So what actually happened was you would drive towards a pod of dolphins, then you would leap into the water, and by the time you oriented yourself, there was nothing there because the dolphins had long gone.
Right. Can you do a dolphin impression?
Hello, I'm a dolphin.
Can you do
Even
it?
in that...
Yeah.
No, patently not. Can you? It felt like an intro to your
I
successful
can't.
dolphin
No, I know.
impersonation.
I thought that the minute I said it, but no, I'm trying to think. In my head, I can hear it. I don't think I can.
I sound more like a small child.
They sort of do
I think you're thinking of owls
Mickey
now.
Mouse. Hey, Pluto.
What's that, Flipper? No, I'm not getting anything. Oh dear. So so you can see some dolphins. Now there are other things you can swim with. I got this from a website, another brilliantly named website. This was in all capitals, the ultimate marine life checklist to spot in the Bahamas.
Okay.
Number 1,
Yeah.
fish.
Well, yeah.
Sort of feels like they're not trying there, doesn't it? Well, what do you think you'd see if you went diving in the Bahamas?
Right.
Fish?
Yeah.
It didn't really go into much more detail than that. So unfortunately, there were other websites and there's some other things we learned about fish. But they got turtles, which are beautiful and delicious, as we know.
Yeah.
And there are sharks as well.
How do we know that they're delicious? That implies that we've eaten turtle, which I haven't eaten.
I was being flippant. I've never eaten a turtle. I don't like the idea of eating a turtle. They're too cool looking.
Right? Don't eat cool looking animals.
I only eat the ugly.
Right. Exactly. They deserve it. Get pretty or die.
If you didn't have the good sense to evolve big eyes and a sad demeanour, then...
That's evolution. Come on.
Oh, we're going to get letters. Right. And sharks, yes, there's a Caribbean reef shark.
Yeah, I see. If you're spotting anything, spot a shark. That's one to be keeping an eye out for.
You might be distracted by all the fish that are present though. They've got oceanic white-tip sharks, tiger sharks, hammerhead sharks, bull sharks. They're all scary named sharks, aren't they? Bull, tiger, hammerhead.
Well, the tiger and the bull, they're ones to watch out for, right? Has anyone ever been killed by a hammerhead shark? You know, I mean, when they were looking at sharks for Jaws, right? Great white was top of the list. They weren't like, let's go with that, the hammerhead.
I think the problem is the hammerhead looks too comical. I mean, you might die laughing.
I mean, they've still got a really powerful set of jaws, right? Like
I don't know. We need to look this up.
They seem to be like bottom feeding sharks.
They just got.
My guess.
I can't get past the crazy head.
I think they use the head to
you can't
scan.
scare me with that head.
They use the head to sort of scan the sand, right? And I'm sure I've seen David Attenborough has shown this many times. I'm sure
with his electrical impulse.
I guess
detector.
Right, and then it's like when it finds something that's hidden in the sand.
Something smaller, but I'm going to say nobody's been eaten by a hammerhead shark.
Hello. This is the voice of the internet. According to the International Shark File, there have only been 17 known attacks on humans by hammerhead sharks since the 14th century. No human fatalities have ever been recorded. Thank you.
So yes, you can swim. Look at all these amazing creatures. So you might get tired of being in the sea, though, as a time traveller. So you might want to go bird watching. You can go bird watching.
Okay.
And the national bird of the Bahamas is the flamingo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I associate flamingos, I guess, with Miami and Florida.
Right. And
so only 50 miles away. I guess that makes sense.
Yep. You're in the right territory. Yeah. So flamingo. I've got a few flamingo facts for you. Flamingo fact number 1. I'll make it a flamingo quiz, actually. Why do flamingos stand on one leg?
Why do flamingos stand on one leg?
It sounds like a Christmas cracker joke, doesn't it?
It does.
But it is a question.
What's a funny response to that? Because they're
hopping mad? The actual answer is we're not entirely sure. The best theory at the moment is that it's heat conservation. So there's only losing heat through one leg if they keep one of their legs up.
I mean, the water's warm though, right? We're talking about the Bahamas. It can't be. It's not like standing in the Atlantic.
Needs to be but it wicks heat away, doesn't it? So unless it's actually warmer than your body heat, you will lose body heat quickly standing in water.
I guess so.
Next question: why are flamingos pink?
Because they eat shrimp and shrimp are pink?
Exactly so.
I thought that was a trick question.
No, that was a straight question. They're born grey or white and they turn pink in the first few years of their life.
Yeah.
It's come from, as you say, it's from alpha and beta carotenoid pigments in the shrimp that they eat.
Right.
So in the zoo, they get fed artificial supplements to give them their pink colour.
Nice.
And you can do it too. If you eat too much beta carotene, so carrots, you can go orange.
Oh, that feels not true.
Carotenemia.
People genuinely have turned orange.
Yeah, it happens to children quite not frequently, but it's not unusual.
I mean, how much of your carrots you got to be eating to turn orange?
I don't know, but I'm guessing a hell of a lot.
Yeah,
technical term. Yeah,
I hear there's a president of the United States that eats a lot of carrots.
Exactly, he must be munching on them all day long. Yes, it's apparently not massively harmful though. So, but if you do find yourself dipping orange, then don't worry about it too much.
But that's just related to certain foods or all foods?
Yeah, beta carotene. So not anything that's orange, but carrot particularly.
Okay.
What are we talking about? Flamingos. Yes, flamingos. Flamingos, I've got one more flamingo fact for you. They're filter feeders, so they don't just munch with that beak. They kind of scoop up water in the beak, and then they sieve the water out to catch all the little creatures inside the water.
Which is what whales do.
Yes, like a baleen whale or similar. So yes, that's the flamingo facts.
Imagine having a sieve in your mouth. Eating a burger and then just like sieving out all the paper it's wrapped around it.
I think we could train flamingos to pan for gold.
That's a great idea.
I think they've missed a trick there.
Yeah, I've got a bath. Keep a couple in that.
The flamingo, nature's sieve.
Nature's sieve.
So there was some other bird stuff, but birds are boring. Okay, let's go mountain climbing.
All right. Are there mountains?
Mount Alvernia is the highest point on the island of the Bahamas.
Oh, I mean, okay, so that's a genuine surprise. I did not know there were mountains in the Bahamas.
Well, let me disappoint you. It's 63 meters tall.
Oh, wait a minute. So is this that thing where technically it's a mountain because it hits a certain height?
No, I think they've just called it Mount Alvernia. It is known locally as Como Hill. It's clearly not a mountain at all. I think they just wanted a mountain, so they wanted it hard enough. 63
meters doesn't classify in my head as a mountain, but it might do.
So you know how high St. Paul's Cathedral is?
Yes.
Yeah, half that.
Then no. No, they can't have that.
It's about 4/5 of the height of a giant sequoia, so not as tall as a tree.
Right. Sequoia is a giant redwoods in California.
Yeah, no. I mean, a tall tree, but still a tree, right?
Big trees.
If someone said this mountain is not as tall as that tree, I would begin to doubt the validity of that mountain.
So as a leisure trip, you might take a little afternoon stroll up it.
It's strolling up Como Hill. It's not climbing Mount Vernia, is it?
No.
Mount Alvernia.
You ever seen that film, this Hugh Grant film, The Man Who Walked Up a Hill and Came Down a Mountain?
I did.
All right. Moving on.
I was expecting some follow-up. Nope. That would be more challenging to do that with Mount Alvernia, because in the film, they're like a metre short. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Mount Alvernia or Como Hill, they're going to have to bring like about 200 metres of soil to actually build a mountain pretty much from scratch.
So in the film, they bring soil, don't they?
Yeah, they bring enough stuff to
make it just over the amount.
Tip it over the last metre.
Right.
The Bahamas remake is a much bigger challenge as they try and make an entire mountain really from sea level up.
Yeah, especially if you're waiting for the sand to come from the Sahara.
Exactly, yes. Could be the next Cool Runnings. Mm. The Bahamian who went up a hill and came down a mountain. Mm. Hollywood, take note.
Take note.
So you're going to want to
actually monitor podcasts looking for ideas.
Oh, good, yeah.
So
I expect our listeners to tell us when they hear about this film being made, so we can get our
greenlit
big Hollywood bucks. Okay, you're going to want a souvenir, aren't you?
That's not the film that's ever going to get a reboot. The Man Who Walked Up a Hill and Came Down a Mountain.
You don't know. You don't know. They remake things.
Starring The Rock.
In a world gone mad.
CG mountains all over the place.
Right? I'm telling you.
Right, we are really straying. Tell me some more leisure stuff.
Leisure, right. So you've gone on a holiday, so you're going to want a souvenir, aren't you?
Definitely.
So a very popular souvenir from the area is a conch.
Yeah, seashell.
Yeah, the big seashell conch. That comes from a queen. That's a queen conch. Yeah. Very big one. So yeah, we're going to talk mollusks.
Okay.
So yeah, you know the shell.
Talk a load of mollusks.
It's the Bounty Bar ad, horn out of a shell type, classic paradise shell. It's also useful if you're trying to establish democracy on an island of feral school children.
Okay. I think of conch shells as being some form of communication too, blowing in it and it making a
That's
noise.
what you always think of it, someone
going
with a conch, right?
Yeah,
I actually don't know. I mostly know it from I've Got the Conch from Lord of the Flies.
Ah, of course, yes.
The island of feral school children.
Who wrote that?
This is going to bother me now.
Yeah. Fact check.
The Flies.
That's annoying. I want to say Priestley, but I know it's not Priestley.
No.
Hello. This is the voice of the internet. Lord of the Flies was written by British novelist, playwright and poet William Golding. Published in 1954, this was his first and most famous novel. Thank you.
Anyway, I've got the conch. So Lobatus gigas is the Latin name. One of the largest mollusks native to the Caribbean Sea. It's not endangered, but it's a bit threatened due to overfishing. But we're in the past, so there's loads of them, so it's fine.
Great. Probably huge ones as well. Because
they haven't been bothered, have they?
Right. Yeah.
Interesting-isk mollusk fact. Mm-hmm. This beautiful shell's got, it's got that sort of flared lip.
Yeah.
That's the sign it flares in adulthood. So a child or teenage mollusk would have just a flat bit there. It wouldn't flare out like that. So the shell is beautiful.
I'm right. It is beautiful.
But the creature is absolutely terrifying. It's nightmare fuel. It's all tentacles. So imagine a snail. Have you seen the film The Thing?
I have seen the film The Thing.
So now if you imagine a very large snail
Yeah.
that's been taken over by the Thing
What?
and has contributed loads of extra tentacles and extruding podules.
Is it a crustacean then? Rather, no, you said
a mollusk.
but it's got like
snail's a
tentacles and
mollusk.
stuff. Yeah, but they don't have
But
tentacles.
not full-on tentacles. They're like it's protruding bits.
Okay.
So yes, go and pick yourself up a queen conch. And you might want to go fishing. You're going to want to eat while you're out there as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we've established that there are fish. Bonefish is a popular fish out there, or bonefish fishing is popular. Although they're
Doesn't
called,
sound very tasty.
well, no, indeed, they're called bonefish apparently because they've got loads of little bones, which makes eating them really difficult. So apparently, when you go bonefish fishing, you don't tend to keep and eat the fish because it's more trouble than it's worth.
Lucky fish. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you can go reef fishing because obviously there's lots of reefs. There's the yellowtail snapper, grouper, mackerel, bunch of fish.
Yeah. Bunch of fish.
I'm just going to name fish for the
And
rest of the
is
show.
our time traveller able to catch these fish? Or are these deep sea?
There's some you go sort of wading out into the reef, and then you can fish you fish in the sort of the ground level or different levels of the reef apparently.
Yeah.
If you were to be really bold, you could build yourself a raft and try and pick yourself a marlin, but that's probably a little bit ambitious for our time traveller. So I think our time traveller will stick with a bit of a local fish you could sort of whip out of the water with a deft flick of the wrist.
Makes sense.
Then having done all these things, our time traveller will say, well, what a wonderful holiday I've had. And they will return to the future to say, well, that was fun. That was the Bahamas in 400 to 500 AD.
Yeah. Wow. So they'll return with sunburn and
a tale to tell.
A tale to tell. Amazing. That was amazing. That was really good. I really enjoyed that one, Pete. So well done.
Thank you very much.
This was History Happened Everywhere out of office. Because we're unable to do our regularly scheduled podcast this week.
Probably that yachting trip with the supermodels that we had planned.
Normal service resumes next week. Pete, I just wanted to say thank you again for a really fascinating trip into the Bahamas.
It's been a pleasure, Ryan. And next time, can I have somewhere and somewhen where there are some people?
I don't know. I think you've done great with animals and time travelers. I think that was awesome. Okay, just a reminder, if you've enjoyed this show, you might want to check out our website at hhepodcast.com, or you can talk to us on email at hhepodcast@gmail.com.
I think a theme is emerging here. It's HHE podcast, isn't it, Ryan?
It is, and across all of our social media, apart from a few, it's HHE podcast.
Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you.
You've been listening to History Happened Everywhere. Out of office.